to me, the area we're in is pretty dang beautiful, and I'm pretty proud of it. And I really like it here, and I think it surprises a lot of people actually when they see kind of how hilly we are and how rough the ground is. And it's not just a pancake that you can see for miles.
Welcome to the LandTrust podcast, where land, technology, and the outdoors meet. Whether you're a landowner, an outdoor enthusiast, or someone curious about the future of recreation on private land, you're in the right place. Each episode, we share real stories from the LandTrust community, from unforgettable guest experiences to conversations with landowners about their land and why they choose to share it, plus interviews with leaders, shaping how we all experience the outdoors. And now, here's your host, Nic De Castro.
Welcome to the LandTrust podcast, where land, technology, and the outdoors come together. This episode is part of our new Landowner Spotlight series, where we chat with landowners who've just recently listed their land on LandTrust. Today's guest is Latham Schwarz, a second-generation cattle and crop operator in western Kansas. His property, Schwartz Ranch, is as scenic and expansive as it is inviting, offering guests a chance to experience 7,300 acres of contiguous native grassland, cropland, and timber, including a mile of river bottom habitat along the Solomon River. LandTrust sportsmen can hunt Rio Grande turkeys, mule deer, whitetails, upland birds like pheasant, bobwhite, quail, plus they could fish for bluegill and sunfish in the ranch ponds. Latham himself also spends his time hunting coyotes, shed hunting and fishing, and is happy to guide guests on the property too. Latham, welcome to the show.
Happy to be here.
Cool, man. So I'd love to hear a little bit about you. Again, this is really for LandTrust sportsmen and other landowners to listen to. We have another kind of series. We talk to landowners who've been with us for years. So we call that like our season hosts, and they can give a different perspective. But it's always great to talk to brand new ones too, and just kind of hear the thought process. And so we want to dig into that. So I'd love to hear a little bit just about you first.
I grew up here in Hoxie, Kansas, went to school here, and worked on my family farm and ranch, which my grandpa's farm is actually 30 miles west of here. And that's not listed on here, but it's a possible future thing. But I grew up out here on the ranch, which is what I really love. And then I graduated high school, went to college at K-State, met my wife there. We lived in South Dakota for 6 months after we graduated, and I went to pilot school because I'm also a ag pilot. And then moved back home, and then I work on the family farm and ranch most of the year, and then I do some flying in the summer.
Awesome, man. That's great. I figured you were K-State and not KU, just, the ag ties. Yep. Well, cool. So tell us a little bit about what's your ground like? What's the property like?
Well, as you said, it's about 7,300 acres of completely connected ground, except for one section that's just a few miles away, but it's within about a 5-minute drive from the rest of the ground. It's all pretty dang spread out because it's not like a big square. It's sort of not more than a mile wide at almost any point, and just connected from the north end all the way to the south end. It's 8 or 9 miles from the north to the south end. It's not what most people think of when they think of western Kansas. We're pretty hilly and rough, and for our area, we have a lot of trees, and we have 4 or 5 springs, so we're pretty dang lucky as far as that goes. I mean, that's for wildlife and for our cattle operations. Live water is about as good as you can get for anything.
Very rare in western Kansas.
Yep. The one section has like 2 or 3 creeks that all kind of come together, and I mean that's the one that if you look at the map, if you ever come out here, you'll see there's a lot of trees out there. At least to me, as a western Kansas person, it's about as foresty as you can get.
We've had quite a few properties in western Kansas throughout the years, and usually it's dry land, wheat, stuff like that. And I know drought has been bad. I don't know if it broke in the last year or two, but I know a couple of years ago it was not great. So you're very fortunate to have some of that live water. And obviously wildlife loves that kind of water on a property too. So I think that's definitely unique. That was going to be the next question I asked. Kind of what's most special about your property to you? Any aspect?
I mean, the fact that it's all connected is pretty cool to me. And I mean, I know a lot of people are just used to I-70 in Kansas. That's about all you ever want to be in Kansas is on I-70 driving through. But to me, the area we're in is pretty dang beautiful, and I'm pretty proud of it. And I really like it here, and I think it surprises a lot of people actually when they see kind of how hilly we are and how rough the ground is. And it's not just a pancake that you can see for miles.
Yeah, I was telling you, my brother-in-law's been wanting to buy ground up there because it's beautiful. If you're a sportsman, I mean, it's just gorgeous anyways. It's kind of it doesn't look like the Flint Hills, but it's you have texture and terrain and trees, which is different. Okay, so what activities are you guys offering on LandTrust now? I think I saw a few different types of hunts, maybe some mule deer and whitetail, upland fishing. That's about right?
The whitetail, mule deer, turkey, and pheasant and quail, and dove hunting. We have, I don't know how many people ever book dove hunts on here, but I know there's a lot of good spots for dove hunting right here. You can get on some doves. And I think I put in there that I would let some people do some coyote hunting. That's the one thing that I hunt. So I don't want to, not that you could ever get rid of all of them, but that is the one thing that I do. But I think that's something that we'd like to do also. And for now, we don't have any housing or anything for people, but we talked about if people wanted to bring RVs out or camp and things like that, we would be open to it as long as it's just a sort of a special request and get approval from us. And as you said, we have some fishing ponds, and on the Solomon River, there's some fishing. And I can't imagine most people that want to go fishing would think to come out to Western Kansas because it's probably not the greatest area in the world to fish. But if you like to catch bluegill and some bass and small stuff, just easy where you don't even really have to cast, you can just drop your pole in them. We have some of that.
I mean, I've got 3 young daughters. My oldest turned 6 yesterday, actually, and then down 4 and 2. I mean, bluegill fishing is the best gateway drug to fishing you could possibly have. So, and they're good to eat. So you like to coyote hunt? Do you do the whole? You got the night set up? You got it all dialed in?
Yep.
I'm very jealous.
Much to my wife's. I don't even know what the word would be, but she wasn't thrilled with that purchase. But.
Yeah, they're a little bit more expensive setups than your wife might imagine. And then you're gone. Then you're gone at night a lot.
Actually, it works out perfect to me because I can still spend time with her all evening and stuff after work, and then I go out when she goes to bed, and then she's not even missing me.
Literally last night. So I started this company in Montana, and then I moved down here. We moved down here about almost a year ago. I'm in coastal Alabama now. So my wife got tired of cold, so now we live in a very warm place. But we have what's called Jubilees here. So we're on Mobile Bay. And a Jubilee is when there's like very low oxygen in the bay, in the water. And so all the fish come up to shore, like literally, in inches of water. And they're oxygen depleted, so they're kind of sluggish. And you just go gigging them, right? So you gig a bunch of flounder and shrimp and crabs. There was one last night, and it happens usually at night. So it's like, I'm going to wake up at 2:45 to go do this thing. While you're sleeping, it's fine. I'm not taking away our time. But that's like our version of coyote hunting here. All right. So I guess, how'd you hear about us? And I don't know, what inspired you to list? Obviously, we know it's never one person's decision. It's a family operation. I'm sure there's other people involved. So how'd you hear about us and how'd you come about listing?
Well, my dad has never been a hunter. And of course, this ranch out here is sort of him and my grandpa, but my dad's the one that kind of manages all this out here. And he never has been into hunting. And so I don't know what it was, maybe 10 years ago, he got approached by an outfitter, and that guy leased up our ground for a long time. And it was a good partnership, and it worked well, let my dad make some essentially passive income for something that he didn't really want to mess with, and helped keep trespassers off the ground and just simple stuff like that. And it worked out well. But as I've gotten older, and I like to coyote hunt, and I have some buddies from college that want to hunt, and I have a couple family members that want to hunt, and we just sort of wanted to have some more control. Basically, that guy treated us well, and it was a good thing while it lasted. But when it's deer season for his outfitting, it was he didn't want us to be out there, and that was understandable because that was his business. I started doing some research and looking through different groups like your guys' different websites, and I mean, a lot of them are similar to that setup where the landowner doesn't really have that much control. It's more of
they're leasing their property rights away, basically,
and that's not what I wanted, because I want to be able to offer people to come out here and hunt and make some money off of it, but I also want to be in control of what goes on. And if I want to go coyote hunt a weekend, I can just cross that off, and I know nobody's going to be out there. That was what really drew me to your guys' business model, I guess, and why we chose you.
Yeah, it's interesting. Over the years, I didn't come from ag. And when I first started it, we didn't know what types of landowners we were going to work with, but we navigated our way here. And I'd say almost all of our 1.5 million acres are production ag owner operator, right? It's guys just like you, your dad, your grandpa. We love seeing, young guys like you coming up because, you're digital natives. You've used all these platforms your whole life, whereas granddad is like, what's Airbnb? What's VRBO? What is all that? So, but over and over again, we heard that. Yeah, we used to lease because that's how if you wanted to make money, if you wanted to monetize that recreation resource, it's pretty much hunting. And it was pretty much just leasing, right? Cool. You get the check in the mail. Yep, that's pretty good. But then, you sold a property right away for a year, 2 years, whatever it might be. And that is exactly it. My friends, my neighbors, my family, my in-laws, the kid down the street, I can't let them use it now because I leased it. So control is really that driver, especially for the owner operator producer, right? It's just like, great, I can make some money, but I can block it out. And I like to coyote hunt, so I'm not going to list that, but here's other stuff you guys can do. So we hear that over and over again. That it's really the control aspect.
Yeah, that's exactly what drew me to it. And then also just like I had looked into maybe just listing it on Facebook or something and then seeing if there'd just be like an individual person that would want to lease the place. And then they'd probably only be out here for a couple weeks out of the year. But then I saw you guys have like your insurance policy and some other things that just cover me a little bit more and just make it a little safer, I guess.
Yeah, Facebook and Craigslist. Hey, it can work, but it's a lot of sketchy, and then you just got to deal with so much stuff. Again, liability, payments, sketchiness, all that stuff. So we just make it really easy. Well, awesome. That's great to hear. What do you hope to experience or gain from being a host on LandTrust, other than like the financial aspect?
I mean, I like showing people that this area, Western Kansas, is pretty cool. And I mean, I don't want to show too many people that it's really cool, but it's a cool area and kind of change some people's view on Western Kansas. And even though I don't deer hunt, I really enjoy seeing deer on our ground, and I like shed hunting. Yeah. I like seeing big deer. I like seeing people get big deer, and I hope that I get to see some of that, see some guys actually bring down some big bucks out here.
Yeah, I can tell you it's what's been really interesting over the past 6 years building this business. I think a lot of our landers, again, you're younger, but a lot of like your dad or grandfather's age, I don't think they expected to enjoy the interaction as much as they did. Now, our landowners don't have to interact. We do digital maps. We got like, you're busy people. It's a certain time of year. You don't ever have to meet your guests. But I think a lot of people that didn't think they would enjoy that aspect and are like, hey, I want to make some money and this is good for that reason, end up like really loving just meeting really cool people who appreciate their ground. Because it's almost like they get to see their ground through totally fresh eyes. Like that place that they've been living their entire life, working every day their entire life, it's every day to them. And then you have someone like me who loves to bird hunt and comes out to this part of Kansas. Like, I mean, I'm sure your ground is incredibly beautiful. And for me, it's the first time I'm ever seeing it. So I do think that it's that intrinsic value, in addition to, of course, generating some income, of having people out who really appreciate. And I think that's the cool thing about hunters too, specifically, is we look at ground. My wife doesn't like Dodge City or Spearville because she doesn't hunt. I go out there, I'm like, this place is great, man. Like, you got the Arkansas River right here, huge deer, like birds everywhere. Like, I look at it totally differently than she does. So I do think that I think you're going to enjoy hosting some people out there. And we do have a lot of bird hunters, by the way. So I think you might be surprised how many upland bird hunters that we have that use the platform. They love it. So,
I guess I could say that was something with the guy that leased this place before, when he would have hunters from all over the place out here. And I always, if I had a chance, I always did try to go pick their brain for 30 minutes and just see what they thought about this place, especially like East Coast guys and never been out west like this. Yep. And I always thought that was really interesting. And like you said, getting to meet people from other parts of the country and just see what they think about the place. Yeah,
you're going to be a great ambassador. It's going to be the next generation like you guys who are going to find these different kind of revenue opportunities and stack some enterprises. And I don't think there's any better advocate for ag than the actual people themselves, so getting people out on operations and seeing the incredible stewardship that happens there. The only reason there's great wildlife is because there's great stewardship. So I really look forward to we're going to see this big turnover in generational operations. So your generation's now moving into the kind of leadership roles, which is really cool. Anything else you want to leave the guests with? And we'll link to your Schwartz Ranch in the kind of description of this. Do you guys have any other? Is there any other places to follow you, social media, anything like that?
No, not really. I'm just hope I can get some guys out here and get some big bucks down and get more people excited to do more hunting.
Thank you for coming on, and we're looking forward to having you be a host with us for many years.
Thanks for having me.
If you're a landowner who's thinking about listing your land, it's easy to get started. Just head to LandTrust.com/landowners to learn more. Or you can call or text our team at any time at 406-709-8450. We're happy to answer your questions and help you get started today. All right, folks, that's a wrap. Thanks for listening. And don't forget, if you're looking for your next great outdoor experience, you know where to find it, LandTrust.com. See you next time.